Hindsight's 2020.
I think we felt like we had a good plan in place for what was developing that day, not realizing what was happening in the background.
And the smoke was so thick. It was just getting worse and worse.
Seeing that smoke, like, that's kind of unusual. That was obviously a big red flag.
We'd been so dry for so long, we knew it was a tinderbox, and we just didn't know how big it would explode.
I think the best way would be to describe it as unsure. Everyone was a little unsure.
I talked with the fire chief. He said, yeah, every model we had said we had 19 hours to prepare. They didn't have 2 hours.
It was really bad, and we didn't know it by 6 o'clock.
I came back from dinner, and then we started to get more reports of people having trouble with communication.
No one had cell phone service. I couldn't put it live on my phone. I couldn't take pictures. I couldn't send emails. We could not send it. We could not broadcast it.
Their landlines were out. We had no communication.
And that was really difficult because you're hearing all these things, more evacuations are going out, and you're hoping that information is making it to the station.
Well, you don't ever want to not be able to reach a reporter. That's one of those things that just doesn't happen.
And it was about 3 hours that we had no service.
We're going to really have to get creative here to try to figure out what's going on. Facebook was a primary source of information.
We were just getting this organic information live from the scene, like nothing I've ever really experienced before in this business.
We were getting messages from people saying either I'm trapped on this mountain, tell me what I need to do, or I am from out of state and I'm communicating with a friend right now who says she's in a car surrounded by fire.
When I talked to people who were trapped in hotels, describing what the scene was like around them. Smoke all around them, fire they could see.
We found a neighborhood where literally every house was on fire.
If you're hearing that there are people trapped in cars on roads that are surrounded by fire, there's the potential there for dozens of people to have died.
There's nothing I can physically do from that car right then, and that's just sad. It's sad that you can't reach out and stop that I don't have a fire truck with me and I can put out someone's house. There's nothing you can do. It's very uncontrollable.
And it's just a matter of trying as best you can to be as thoughtful and make smart decisions and ensure you are dealing with the news as best you can to catch it.
All you can do is get video and continue to tell the stories and share the information you have.
Around 8:30 or 8:45, one of the last things we heard was everybody was leaving the fire station in Gatlinburg for a different place because they no longer felt safe downtown.
And at that point, you were just hoping and praying that people were able to heed some of the evacuation warnings, to observe with their own eyes what's going on. We have got to leave now.
Once you comprehend the fact that the authorities themselves don't have a handle on this and can't stop it and can't control it, then you fully understand we are in the middle of a full-fledged disaster.
You just realize the magnitude of the situation was becoming a tragedy.
We tried to, as fast as we could, possibly get on the air with what we had. We went with it.
One of the producers was in my ear, literally saying things into my ear as they were coming out of my mouth. I mean, this is how fresh the information was that we were getting into our newsroom.
From that point on, we were live as soon as we could through 11, 12, and 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's just one of those sad things you wish you could have given even more warning.
We don't want to take for granted again, ever, that a disaster can't come upon any of us. We saw it can happen, and it can happen like that.
As a journalist, you are usually used to putting aside emotion and focusing on the story at hand. And in this case, we were watching the mountains that we love and the people that are part of our community in great despair, and I think it became progressively harder to separate emotion.
The next couple of days would be long days, and you would meet a lot of people, and you really got to see the hurt that the community was feeling, and you would kind of take that on yourself a little bit.
It's the mixed emotions. It's a bittersweet, very sad tragedy.
These people that had lost everything had these amazing, beautiful attitudes, and to be able to tell a story and share that, I think that's what people needed.
I saw officials bonding with people, everybody hugging and embracing and helping each other, and that was a beautiful thing.
We sort of, wipe our brow about what that night was like for us, but I can't imagine if it's your job to answer calls for fire or people trapped or no power or no communication. I can't imagine what it's like if it's your job to try and do rescue work in situations like that.
To the firefighters, to the Park Service, to the people who went through this, it was a horrible, horrible thing that happened.
Everybody who put their lives in harm's way to make sure others could be saved, thank you from the bottom of our heart.
I know it's going to take years to rebuild, and these memories are going to stick with them forever, and we're always here willing to tell their stories, willing to lend a helping hand when they need one.
In tragedy, there is always triumph.
It was chaos, but we're here.
We made it. Thank God we got out alive, and we're going to come back stronger than ever.
I'd say the story's not over. It is, in some ways, just beginning, because the comeback is the story we really want to share.